Good morning, students. Dear students, let's continue with the line by line reading of chapter 2, that is The Enemy by Pearl S. Buck. Hannah came, her white sleeves flying. A mile or two away on either side, there were fishing villages. But here was only the bare and lonely coast, dangerous with rocks. The surf beyond the beach was spiked with rocks. Somehow the man had managed to come through them. He must be badly torn. When Hannah Sadao went to the man who was lying beside the sea, they were able to know that there were fishing villages nearby and the man had come from there. But it was the coast which was dangerous with rocks, and the waves struck against those rocks. Surf means waves, spiked means struck. The man had managed to come through those waves, and he was badly wounded. Torn means wounded. They saw when they came toward him that indeed it was so. When they saw the man, they were able to see that he was badly wounded. The sand on one side of him had already a stain of red soaking through. The sand which was lying beside him had soaked his blood. "He is wounded," Sadao exclaimed. He made haste to the man who lay motionless. Sadao suddenly went to the man who was lying unconscious. Motionless means unconscious. His face in the sand, an old cap stuck to his head, soaked with sea water. Old cap was there, which was soaked with sea water. He was in wet rags of garments. His garments were tattered. Rags means tattered garments. Sadao stopped Hannah at his side and turned the man's head. Sadao turned the head of that man. They saw the face. "A white man," Hannah whispered. Whispered means spoke in an inaudible voice that he was an American. Yes, it was a white man. The wet cap fell away, and there was his white yellow hair. His hair was golden, long as though for many weeks it had not been cut. His hair was long, because for so many weeks his cutting was not there, and upon his young and tortured face was a rough yellow beard. Golden beard was there. He was unconscious and knew nothing what they did for him. He was unconscious and he didn't know what they were doing. Now Sadao remembered the wound, and with his expert fingers he began to search for it. With his expert fingers, Sadao searched the wound. Blood flowed freshly at his touch. As soon as Sadao touched the wound, blood flowed. On the right side of his lower back, they saw that there was a gun wound had been reopened. On lower back there was gun wound which was reopened when Sadao touched it. The flesh was blackened with powder. His flesh was blackened with the powder of the gun. Somehow, not many days ago, the man had been shot and had not been tended. Tended means looked after. Not so many days before, the man had been shot and he was not looked after. It was bad chance that the rock had struck the wound. It was his bad luck that he was struck with the rocks. "How is bleeding?" Hannah whispered again in a solemn voice. Solemn means serious. In serious voice, Hannah spoke that he was bleeding badly. The mist screened them now completely. Fog covered them completely. Screened means covered. At this time of the day, no one came by. Even a single soul was not seen there. The fishermen had gone home, and even the chance beachcombers would have considered the day at an end. Fishermen had gone to their homes, and the people who used to come here at the beach, they also had gone at their homes because it was the end of the day. "What shall we do with the man?" Sadao muttered. Sadao spoke that what should they do with that man? His trained hands seemed of their own will to do what they could do to stanch the fearful bleeding. Stanch means stop. To stop the terrible bleeding, he was doing whatever he could do. He packed the wound with the sea moss that grew at the beach. Strewed means spread. The moss means grass. The grass which was spread there, he packed the wound with that. The man moaned with pain. Moaned means cried. The man cried with pain in his stupor. Stupor means unconscious state. But he didn't awaken. He was not conscious. "The best thing that we could do would be to put him back in the sea," Sadao said, answering himself. Sadao said that they should throw him into the sea once again. Now that the bleeding was stopped for the moment, he stood up and dusted the sand from his hands. He dusted his hands, which were covered with sand. "Yes, undoubtedly that would be best." Hannah said that it would be best that if they threw the man into the sea. He said steadily means continuously. But she continued to stare down at the motionless man. But again and again she was staring at the man who was lying unconscious. If we sheltered a white man in our house, we should be arrested, and if we turned him over as a prisoner, he would certainly die, Sadao said. Sadao thought that if they handed over the man to the police, he would die, and if they kept the man in their home, they would be arrested. So it would be best that if they throw the man into the sea. The kindest thing would be to put him back into the sea, Hannah said. But neither of them moved because their humanitarian feeling was arousing and they were not able to throw that man into the sea. They were staring with a curious repulsion upon the inert figure. Inert means unconscious, lifeless. On that lifeless figure, they were staring with a curious repulsion. Repulsion means hatred. What is he? Hannah whispered. There is something about him that looks American. When Hannah asked who the man was, Sadao told that it appeared that he was American. He took up the battered cap. Yes, there almost gone was the faint letters. Battered means torn. The cap which was completely torn, they saw that faint letters were there. A sailor, he said, from an American warship. He was a sailor from American warship. He spelled it out US Navy. The words US Navy were printed on that cap. The man was a prisoner of war. He had escaped, Hannah cried softly, and that's why he is wounded, because he had run away from there. That was why he was wounded with a gun. In the back, Sadao agreed. They hastily looked at each other, and then Hannah said with resolution. Resolution means with firm determination. Hannah spoke. Come, are we able to put him back into the sea? Let's throw him into the sea. If I am able, are you? Sadao asked. Sadao asked her whether she would help him. No, Hannah said, but if you can do it alone. She said that Sadao should throw him alone. Sadao hesitated again. The strange thing is, he said that if the man were whole, I could turn him over to the police without difficulty. I care nothing for him. He is my enemy. All Americans are my enemies, and he is only a common fellow. You see how foolish his face is, but since he is wounded, he was not able to hand him over to the police. Sadao was in dilemma, and he told Hannah that if the man had been normal, he must have given him to the police as a prisoner of war. Because he was wounded, as a doctor, it was his duty to heal the wounded patient. You also cannot throw him back into the sea. Hannah asked. He was not able to hand him over to the police because he was wounded. Also, he was not able to throw him into the sea. Then there is only one thing to do. We must carry him into the house. Then only one solution was there. They should carry him to their home. But the servant, Sadao inquired. Sadao asked, if they took him to their home, what would be there with the servants? We must simply tell them that we intended to give him to the police. Intended means intention. Hannah told that they would tell the servants that their intention was to hand him over to the police. And indeed we must. They must hand him over. We must think of the children and your position, because they have to think about their position and the position of their children also. It would endanger all of us if we didn't give the man over as a prisoner of war. Hannah told that it would endanger their life if they didn't hand him over to the police. Certainly, Sadao agreed. I would not think of doing anything else. Sadao told that he must hand him over to the police. Thus agreed together, they lifted the man. Then they lifted the man. He was very light like a fowl, just like a chicken. It was very light in weight. That had been half starved for a long time until it is only feathers and skeleton, just like that chicken which was starved and which was kept only feathers and skeleton. So his arms hanging, because he was very light, so his arms were hanging towards the floor. They carried up the man to the steps into the side door of a house. They took the man to their home. They carried the man towards an empty bedroom and took him in an empty bedroom. It had been the bedroom of Sadao's father, and since his death it had not been used. Since the death of Sadao's father, the room had not been used. They laid the man on the deep matted floor. Everything here had been Japanese to please the old man. For the pleasure of Sadao's father, Everything was Japanese in that room because his father was a true patriot and he was not able to tolerate any foreign thing in his room. Who would never in his own house sit on a chair or sleep in a foreign bed? His father never slept in a foreign bed or he didn't sit on a foreign chair. Hannah went to the wall cupboard and slid back a door, took out a soft quilt. Hannah opened the door of a sliding almirah and she took out a soft quilt. She hesitated. The quilt was covered with flowery silk and the linen was pure white silk. The quilt was of pure white silk, so she hesitated. He is so dirty, she murmured in distress. Distress means sadness. Hannah was sad because she didn't want that her flowered quilt should be destroyed by the man. Yes, he had better be washed, Sadao agreed. Sadao agreed that first of all they must wash the wounded man. If you will fetch hot water, I will wash him. Fetch means bring. Sadao asked Hannah if she would bring hot water, Sadao would wash the man. I can't bear for you to touch him, she said. Hannah said that she would not tolerate Sadao wash that man. We shall have to tell the servants he is here. They will have to tell the servants that they had brought the prisoner of war. I will tell Yumi now. She told that Yumi, who is the nanny of children, she would tell her she can leave the children for a minute and she can wash him. Yumi would wash the patient. Sadao considered a moment. Considered means thought. For some time, Sadao thought, let it be so, he agreed. You tell Yumi and I will tell the others. Sadao said that Hannah would tell Yumi, the nanny of the children, and he would tell the other two servants. So one is the gardener who is working there till Sadao's father's time, and another is the cook. She is cooking food for them for a long time. But the utter pallor of the man's unconscious face moved him. Utter pallor means complete whitish face. Compelled Sadao to move towards the patient. He first to stoop and felt his pulse. Sadao stooped, bent, and checked the pulse of the patient. It was faint, but it was there. Faint pulse was working. He put his hand against the man's cold breast. Just then, Sadao put his hand on the cold breast of the patient. The heart too was yet alive. Heartbeat was also there. He will die unless he is operated on. If Sadao didn't operate the patient, he would definitely die. The question is whether he will not die anyway. And Sadao thought that he would never let the man die because he is a doctor. As a doctor, he would perform his duty to save the patient. Hannah cried out in fear, don't try to save him. What if he should live? Hannah was afraid and she told Sadao that what would happen if the man would be saved by them. What if he should die? Sadao replied. He stood gazing, looking intently. Sadao asked Hannah what would happen if he died. And down on the motionless man, he was gazing. He was looking intently at the unconscious man. The man must have extraordinary vitality, or he would have been dead by now. Sadao was thinking that the man was young and enthusiastic. Otherwise, he must have died up to then. But then he was young, perhaps not yet 25, and Sadao guessed that his age was not more than 25. You mean die from the operation? Hannah asked. Hannah asked whether the man would die during the operation. Yes. Hannah considered this doubtfully, and when she didn't answer, Sadao turned away. When Hannah didn't speak anything, Sadao went away from there. At any rate, something must be done with him. We have to do something. They had to do something with that. And first he must be washed. First of all, they would wash the patient. He went quickly out of the room and Hannah came behind him. When Sadao came out of the room, Hannah came behind him. She didn't wish to be left alone with the white man because she didn't want to be kept alone with the white man. He was the first she had seen since she left America, and now he seemed to have nothing to do with those whom she had known there. Here he was her enemy, a menace, living or dead. Sadao hadn't contacted any American since he had come from America after her studies, and she didn't bother about Americans, and this was a man who was menace means danger for them whether he was living or dead. She turned to the nursery and called Yumi. She went to the nursery of children and called Yumi, the nanny of the children. But the children heard her voice and she had to go for a moment and smile at them and play with the baby boy, now nearly 3 months old. But when she called Yumi, the children heard the voice of their mother and she had to go to the children and play with the little baby boy who was just 3 months. Over the baby's soft black hair, she motioned with her mouth, Yumi, come with me. Then she kissed the child and called Yumi with her. I will put the baby to bed, Yumi replied, he is ready. Yumi told that she must make the baby sleep because he was ready to sleep. She went with Yumi into the bedroom next to the nursery and stood with the boy in her arms while Yumi spread the sleeping quills on the floor and laid the baby between them. Hana took the baby in her arms and Yumi spread the quilt of the baby and she laid the baby on the bed. Then Hana led the way quickly and softly to the kitchen. Then Hana went quickly towards kitchen. The two servants were frightened at what their master had just told them. The two servants, the gardener and cook, were afraid because Sadao had told them about the prisoner of war. The old gardener, who was also a house servant, pulled the few hair on his upper lip. The old gardener pulled the hair from his upper lip. The master ought not to heal the wound of the white man. He told that the master should not heal the wounded man. First he was shot. Then the sea caught him and wounded him with her rocks. If the master heals what the gun did and what the sea did, they will take revenge on us. The gardener was superstitious, and he was afraid that the man was wounded by the rocks by the gun. After that he was struck with the rocks, and if their master tried to save him, the gun and sea would take revenge from him. I will tell him what you say, Hana replied curtly. Curtly means politely. Hana told that she would inform Sadao what they were saying, but she herself was also frightened. From her inner sides, Hana was also afraid, although she was not superstitious as the old man was. Though she was not superstitious. Could it ever be well to help an enemy? But she knew very well that it was not well to help the enemy. Nevertheless, she told Yumi to fetch hot water and bring it to the room where the white man was. Nevertheless means even then she told Yumi, fetch means bring, to bring hot water to the room where the man was lying. She went ahead and slid back the partition. She went ahead Yumi and opened the sliding door. Sadao was not yet there. Yumi, following, put down her wooden bucket. Then she went over to the white man. When she saw him, her thick lips folded themselves into stubbornness. With adamant nature, she folded her lips. I have never washed a white man, she said, and I will not wash so dirty a man. Yumi bluntly replied that she hadn't washed any American, and now also she would not wash that man. Hana cried at her severely. Severely means harshly. Hana cried, you will do what your master commands you. That she would have to do what she is commanded to do. There was so fierce a look of resistance upon Yumi's round dull face that Hana felt unreasonably afraid. Resistance means oppose. Hana opposed the matter, and there was a frightening look of her that Hana was afraid. After all, if the servant should report something, that was as if it happened. Hana was thinking, if the servants opened their secret, it would not be good for them. Very well, she said with dignity. Dignity means proud. With proud she spoke once again. You understand, we only want to bring him to his senses so that we can turn him over as a prisoner. Hana told that they wanted to bring that man to the senses, and after that they would hand him over to the police. I will have nothing to do with it, Yumi said. I am a poor person and this is not my business. Yumi replied that she was only a servant and it was not his matter whether they hand him over to the police or not. Then please, Hana said gently, return to your own work. Then Hana requested her to wash the man. At once Yumi left the room. But this left Hana with the white man alone. Yumi left the room and Hana was left alone with the patient. She might have been too afraid to stay Had not her anger at Yumi's stubbornness now sustained her. Stubbornness means adamant nature. If her anger at Yumi's stubbornness had not increased, she also must have left the room. Stupid Yumi, she muttered fiercely. She spoke to herself about Yumi that she was stupid. Is this anything but a man? It was only a human being, and that too a wounded and helpless man. In the conviction of her own superiority, she bent impulsively and untied the knotted rugs that kept the white man covered. Then, with her determination that she was superior than Yumi, she bent with full enthusiasm and she opened the knotted rugs from the man. When she had his breast bare, she dipped the small clean towel that Yumi had brought into the steaming hot water and washed his face carefully. The man's skin, though rough with exposure, was of fine texture and must have been very blond when he was a child. While she was thinking these thoughts, she was thinking that the texture of the man was very fine, though not really liking the man. She didn't like that man. Better now that he was no longer a child. She kept on washing him until his upper body was quite clean. Even then, with hot water, with a clean towel, she cleaned the man until his upper body was completely clean. But she dared not turn him over. Where was Sadao? Now her anger was ebbing. Ebbing means lessening. Now anger of Hana on Yumi was lessening, and she thought about Sadao. She was anxious again and she rose. She was worried and she rose, wiping her hands on the wrong towel. Wrong towel means dirty towel. She cleaned her hands with dirty towel. Then, lest the man be chilled, she put the quilt over him. Sadao, she called softly. He had been about to come in when she called. His hand had been on the floor and now he opened it. She saw that he had brought his surgeon's emergency bag and that he wore his surgeon's coat. Just then Sadao came. He had worn his surgeon's coat and he had brought his surgeon's emergency bag. You have decided to operate. Hana asked whether he had decided to operate the patient. Yes, he said shortly. He turned his back to her and unfolded a sterilized towel upon the floor of Tokonoma floor. He opened her sterilized towel, sterilized means made bacteria free, and put his instruments upon it. Fetch towels, he said. He told Hana to bring the towels. She went obediently. Because Hana obeyed Dr. Sadao every time she went, but how anxious now to the linen shelves, and took out the towels. She was worried about her new towels. There ought also be old pieces of matting, so that the blood would not ruin the fine covering. She knew that Tokonoma floor was there, and the blood would spoil that mat, so she went outside the home to bring some coverings from outside. She went out to the back veranda where the gardener kept strips of matting with which to protect the delicate shrubs on cold nights. During cold nights, the gardener used to use the matting to protect delicate shrubs, and she brought some mats from there. But when she went back into the room, she saw that was useless. When she came to the room, it was useless to bring those mats. The blood had already soaked through the packing because the blood had gone to the mat through the packing and the man's wound and had ruined the mat under him. Oh, the mat, she cried. Yes, it is ruined. Sadao told that the mat was spoiled as though he didn't care, but he was not thinking about the mat. Help me to turn him. He commanded Hana that she must help Sadao to turn the patient. She obeyed him without a word. Without speaking, she obeyed her husband. He began to wash the man's back carefully. Yumi would not wash him. Then Hana told Sadao that Yumi didn't wash the patient. Did you wash him then? He asked Hana whether she had washed the man. Sadao asked, not stopping for a moment. His swift, concise movement. Swift means very sharp, concise means accurate movement. Yes, he didn't seem to hear her, but now it appeared that Sadao was not listening Hana. She was used to his absorption. Absorption means dedication. But Hana knew very well when Sadao was operating a patient, he was totally dedicated towards his work. She wondered for a moment if it mattered to him what was the body upon which he worked so long, as it was for the work he did so excellently. Hana was thinking when Sadao knew that it was their enemy, the man whom he was operating with such perfection. You will have to give the anesthetic if he needs be. Sadao told Hana to give anesthetic to the patient if it was needed. She repeated blankly. Hana spoke that whether if it was Hana who would give the anesthetic, it is easy enough, he said impatiently. With full enthusiasm, he told that it was easy to give anesthetic. He was taking out the packing now. He was opening the packing, and the blood began to flow more quickly. As Sadao opened the packing, fresh blood flowed quickly. He peered into the wound with the bright surgeon's light fastened on his forehead. The surgeon's bright light, which was fastened on the forehead of Sadao, he saw through that light the bullet is still there, that the bullet was still there. He said with cool interest, "Now I wonder how deep the rock wound is." He was thinking how deep the rock wound was there. If it is not too deep, it may be that I can get the bullet. He was thinking if the wound was not so deep, he would be successful in bringing out the bullet. But the bleeding is not superficial. Superficial means extravagant. But he was able to understand that so much blood had been flown, he had lost much blood. At this moment, Hana choked. Hana was feeling suffocated. She looked up and saw her face the color of sulfur. When Sadao saw the face of Hana, it was white just like sulfur. "Don't faint," he said sharply. He told Hana that she must not be unconscious. He didn't put down his exploring instrument. If I stop now, the man would surely die. He thought that if he stopped the operation and looked after his wife, the patient would die. She clapped her hands to her mouth and leaned up and ran out of the room. Just then, Hana put her hands on the mouth and ran away from there. Outside in the garden, he heard her retching. Hana was vomiting in the garden, but he went on with his work. But even then, Sadao was not thinking about his wife. He was continuing with his work of operating the patient. It will be better for her to empty her stomach. Then he thought that it would be better if Hana vomits because she will feel comfortable. He thought he had forgotten that, of course, she had never seen an operation. He had forgotten that Hana was feeling uncomfortable because she hadn't seen any operation earlier. But her distress and his inability to go to her at once made him impatient and irritable with the man who lay like dead under his knife. He was impatient. He was feeling irritated because he was not able to look after his wife. So he was feeling uncomfortable. The man, he thought, there is no reason under heaven why he should live. He was thinking why he was trying so hard to save the man. Unconsciously, this thought made him ruthless. Ruthless means cruel. Suddenly he became cruel and he proceeded swiftly. He continued his work swiftly. In his dream, the man moaned. Moaned means cried. The man cried. Sadao paid no heed except to mutter at him. Sadao didn't pay any heed. Groan, he muttered. Groan. Groan means cry. Again cry. I am not doing this for my own pleasure. Sadao told that he was not doing that for his pleasure only. In fact, I don't know why I am doing so. He was not able to understand why he was trying to save him. The door opened and there was Hana again. "Where is the anesthetic?" she asked in a clear voice. Hana asked Sadao where was the anesthetic. Sadao muttered, motioned with the chin. "It is as well that you came back." He told that it was good that Hana had come back. The fellow is beginning to stir because the patient had tried to move. She had the bottle and some cotton in her hand. "But how shall I do it?" she asked Sadao. how she would be able to give anesthetic to the patient. Simply saturate the cotton and hold it near his nostrils. Sadao told that she must wet the cotton and took it to the nostrils of the patient. Sadao replied without delaying for one moment. The intricate detail of his work. The intricate means minute. He was doing his work minutely. When he breathes heavily, move it away a little. He told Hannah when the patient feels uncomfortable in breathing, she must keep away the cotton. She crouched close to the sleeping face. Just then, Hannah went to the patient, young American. It was a piteous, thin face, she thought. The lips were twisted. His lips were twisted. The man was suffering whether he knew it or not. The man was suffering whether he was conscious or unconscious. Watching him, she wondered if the stories they heard sometimes of the sufferings of prisoners were true. She was thinking that the stories which were about the prisoners, that they were tortured by the opposition, whether those stories were true. They came like flickers of rumor. She thought that those were just rumors, told by word of mouth and always contradicted. Those were only told by mouth, and she always contradicted those stories. In the newspapers, the reports were always there. Whether the Japanese armies went, the people received them gladly. She also had read in the newspapers that wherever the armies went, they were received gladly. With cries of joy at their liberation, in their freedom, the people were happy. But sometimes she remembered such men as General Takima. Just then she thought about the general who at home beat his wife cruelly, how he beats his wife mercilessly. Though no one mentioned it now that he had fought so victorious a battle in Manchuria. Though the governor had won the battle in Manchuria also, if a man like that could be so cruel to a woman in his power, would he not be cruel to one like this, for instance? She was thinking that when a general could be so cruel towards his wife, how could people not be cruel to such a prisoner? She hoped anxiously that the man had not been tortured. She was feeling piteous that the man must not be tortured. It was at this moment that she observed a deep red scar on his neck. Just then, she saw a red scar on the neck of the patient just under the ear. Those scars, she murmured, lifting her eyes to Sadao. She asked Sadao, how were the scars there? But he didn't answer. Sadao didn't speak. At this moment, he felt the tip of his instrument strike against something hard. Just then, the tip of instrument of Dr. Sadao struck against the bullet, dangerously near the kidney. It was near the kidney. All thought left him. Now Sadao was thoughtless. He felt only the purest pleasure. He was feeling very happy that he was able to find the bullet. He probed with his fingers delicately. Very softly, he probed with his fingers, familiar with every atom of the human body. Because he was very much familiar with every atom of the human body, his old American professor of anatomy had seen to that knowledge, and his American professor who taught about the parts of the body, anatomy means parts of the body, knew that Sadao was perfect in his knowledge. Ignorance of the human body is the surgeon's cardial sin. Cardial means basic sin. If a human being, a surgeon is not aware about the parts of human body, that is the cardial sin. He had thundered at his class year after year. The professor usually shouted in his class every year, to operate without as complete knowledge of the body as if you had made it anything less than that the murder. And the professor used to say, if they hadn't complete knowledge of the parts of the body, they must not operate, and it would be considered just like a murder. It is not quite at the kidney, my friend. Just then, when he was searching the bullet, he told that it was not near the kidney, and he told the patient as my friend. It was his habit to murmur to the patient when he forgot him in an operation, my friend, because it was the habit of Dr. Sadao that he used to tell his patient his friend, though he must be his enemy. He called his patient, and so now he did, forgetting that this man was his enemy. Then quickly, with the clearest and most precise of incision, precise means accurate, incision means cut, with accurate cut, the bullet was out. He brought the bullet out. The man quivered, but he was still unconscious. Quivered means trembled, shivered. The man shivered, but he was unconscious now also. Nevertheless, he muttered a few English words. Nevertheless means even then he spoke some English words. Guts, he muttered, choked. Yeah, they got my guts. Guts means intestines. The man told that there was pain in his intestines. Sadao, Hannah cried sharply. Hush, Sadao said, don't speak. The man sank again into silence so profound that Sadao took up his rest. The man became silent so deep that once Sadao thought that he was dead, and he took up the wrist of that man. Hating the touch of it, though Sadao was feeling hatred because he knew that the man was his enemy, there was still a pulse so faint. His pulse was faint, so feeble. Feeble means weak. Even though he wanted the man to live to give hope, he was able to understand that if he worked hard, the man would be alive. But certainly I don't want this man to live, he thought. No more anesthetic. Just then he told Hannah that she must not give any anesthetic. He turned so swiftly as though he had never paused, and from his medicine he chose a small vial, and from it he filled a hypodermic and thrust it into the patient's arm. Just then Sadao took the medicine vial and he filled hypodermic syringe and he thrust the injection into the patient's arm. Then pulling down the needle, he took the man's wrist again. The pulse under his fingers fluttered once again or twice and then grew stronger. The man will live in spite of all. He was thinking that he must save the man. The young man woke so weak, his eyes so terrified when he perceived where he was. Perceived means looked minutely. When the man saw that where he had come, he was afraid. Hannah felt compelled to apologize, and Hannah had to say sorry. She herself served him, for none of the servants would enter the room. Hannah served food to the man herself because the servants refused to come there. When she came in the first time, she saw him summon his small strength to be prepared for some fearful thing. When for the first time Hannah came to the patient, he was doing something fearful. Don't be afraid, she begged him softly. Hannah consoled him that he must not be afraid. How come you speak English? The patient gasped that how she was able to speak English. I was a long time in America, she replied. Hannah replied that she had spent such a long time in America during her studies. She saw that he wanted to reply to that, but he couldn't. The patient wanted to reply, but he didn't speak. So she knelt and fed him gently with the porcelain spoon. With the porcelain spoon, she fed the patient. He ate unwillingly, but still he ate. He was eating unwillingly. Now you will soon be strong, she said, not liking him and yet moved to comfort him. Hannah told him that very soon he would be perfectly okay. He didn't answer. When Sadao came in the third day after the operation, he found the young man sitting up, his face bloodless with the effort. Third day when Sadao came in, the patient was sitting and his face was white with effort. Lie down, Sadao cried. Do you want to die? He forced the man down gently. Sadao made the man to lie down and strongly and examined the wound. He examined the wound. You may kill yourself if you do this sort of things, he said. What are you going to do with me? The boy muttered. He looked just now barely 17. Because earlier he was suffering from pain, but now he was okay. So it appeared that he was barely 17. Are you going to hand me over? Then he asked Sadao whether he would hand him over to the police. For a moment Sadao didn't answer. He finished his examination and then pulled the silk quilt over him. I don't know myself what I shall do with you. Sadao told that he himself didn't know what he would do with the man. I ought of course to give you to the police. No doubt he must hand him over to the police. You are a prisoner of war, because the patient was a prisoner of war. Don't tell me anything. He put up his hand as he saw the man was about to speak. When the patient was about to speak, Sadao told him that he must not tell anything to Sadao. Don't even tell me your name unless I ask it. He must not tell even his name. They looked at each other for a moment, and then the young man closed his eyes and turned his face to the wall. Okay, he whispered, his mouth a bitter line. He was feeling uncomfortable. Outside the door, Hannah was waiting for Sadao. He saw at once that she was in trouble. Hannah was in trouble. Sadao, Yumi tells me the servants feel that they cannot stay if we hide the man here anymore. She tells me that they are saying that I and were in America for a long time. Hannah told Sadao that Yumi, who was the nanny of children, was telling that the servants would not be able to stay in their home if they gave shelter to that man. And she also told that the servants were saying that they had spent a long time in America. That was why they were loyal to the Americans. We'll continue.